Excited to be back in the USA. Love our team's progress this last couple of weeks. We've been able to get back in the gym and get together. DePaul's got a fantastic team, obviously with their record being 7-0 and coming in here. I'm sure they're playing with a lot of confidence. Offensively, extremely difficult to defend, have a great plan, their role definition. I mean, Coach Holtman's really got their team in you can tell a really confident place on both ends. And we're excited about the Big 12 Big East Challenge and the opportunity we get to represent the Big 12. And we take that very seriously. And we also are excited to play a great team that I feel like will be a tough matchup for us, especially with how well they're playing.
Coach, what challenges does this DePaul team bring to you, as they are another team that can shoot the three extremely well?
Yeah, no, I mean, they're one of the most efficient teams in college basketball. They move it as well as anyone. I mean, their pace on the offensive end, the multiple guys they have that can shoot the basketball. I think they know who's supposed to do what. And so they just don't make a lot of mistakes, really. And you have to be ultra aggressive in order to put them in a place where they do. And, this is a team we really have a lot of respect for.
How did the St. Joseph's game prepare you for this game?
I think more than anything, what we've learned from our games up to this point is, knowing personnel and not letting guys have a comfort level to the way they want to play to start games offensively. And our sense of urgency with taking away the keys to other people's teams offensively is got to be something that we really embrace every time we step on the floor. And sometimes, hey, guys make tough shots, but you can't let there be such a freedom at the beginning of games to where there's a comfort level to start. And that's kind of what we've learned up to this point, especially defensively going into this game.
And how does this game prepare you, get you as you get closer and closer to Big 12 conference matchups?
Anytime you play, I think, a team and a program, and when you look at what Coach Holtman's done with his teams, he just has always got a lot out of them, and they're prepared, and they've got, it is like a conference game, and you're ultimately putting yourself in position to make the NCAA tournament and play in the NCAA tournament, but you're also trying to figure out a way to get the best out of your team every day. And I know this game will help us on that journey of getting better and getting the best out of our team.
Do you expect Devin Cambridge to be back on Wednesday?
Hey, great question. Right now we're just still trying to evaluate it on a day-to-day basis and help him be the best he can be.
How much has Kevin Overton provided off the bench? 20 points the other night.
Yeah, KO's been tremendous. He's such a versatile player. He can score on the offensive end, but he's also a tremendous defender. He's been really the key to when we play great defensively. He's out there being disruptive, and he's one of the primary guys that we put on other teams' better players. He's shot it well in the last game, but really it's his rim pressure and his ability to keep teams on their heels that make him such a help for our team. I mean, I think when he starts making threes, it opens up every aspect of his game, and I think as he grows, he'll continue to learn when and how to keep scoring, but more importantly, how do we put pressure on teams, and he can do that on both ends, defensively and offensively.
Coach, each night can be a battle, but when looking at just the schedule for both teams so far and obviously just how good DePaul is playing at the moment, is it safe to say that maybe both teams early on here in the season, that this is the first big test for both sides?
Well, I can't really speak for them, but I can say just looking at our schedule, it's been a good ramp for us, especially with our team. And we've dealt with a few injuries early and trying to get a flow and continuity to how we want to rotate and how we want to play and how we want to improve. And I am convinced, though, that this game will be hugely pivotal in our growth and preparation for Big 12 play.
Do you have any connection with Coach Holtman out there?
Not really. I mean, I think we both have coached at at the the mid-major / different levels of college basketball. I really respect how his teams are prepared, and you can tell they're well drilled, they're well coached. I don't really have a connection with him other than just a lot of respect for the way his teams have always played and won.
And as of right now, 88 points per game you guys are scoring. You're giving up just 65. So what do you like defensively currently?
Yeah, I like the progression that we've made and how we've gotten better from game to game on things that we felt like were important. And the pace at which we're playing, I think, was increased and we became more aggressive the more depth we got. Having Christian Anderson, Elijah Hawkins out there, and their ability to not only just score but to put pressure on teams by the way that we attack them offensively and defensively. And I think the growth of our team with the more depth that we've had, and it's been a wide range. And we went from having no point guards at the beginning to historically our point guard for our team, because Chance and D5 did a tremendous job. But just in how we prepared for the summer and the fall, and to see that mature. And then I thought the Wyoming game defensively, we took a huge jump just with our activity, and we turned them over. And you just saw we can do it in different ways. And so I just think we need to take another jump against a great offensive team defensively. And then it always is going to hinge on how well we rebound. And that determines our flow into what we do offensively. And the more we can get stops, the better we play.
I've got kind of a broad strokes basketball question for you. With the transfer portal era, NIL, revenue sharing is kind of coming in. It seemed like talent is kind of spread out a lot more around the country, and there's not really this list of 10 teams that are just kind of dominating. Everybody's kind of interchangeable. So does that kind of make the coaching cliche of doing what we do well even more of an emphasis? Because if you do that well, it won't matter what the matchup really is.
Yeah, you ask a great question about how this whole landscape has changed and how it impacts teams and how it impacts programs that do things well. And I think, one, it's identifying people that fit who you are and how you want to play. And then two, I think a key to it is adapting to what your team does well. And then when you get them, how well can you put that together to match maybe the things that your program, you want it built on. And I can tell you this, when we've shared the ball and the ball's moved, we've been extremely difficult to defend. And the pace at which we move the ball offensively, we've played our best basketball. And our best basketball has been when we're extremely active defensively, and you can see there's a grit and scrap to the way that you compete over the course of the possession, which usually ends in a rebound. So I do think the identity of your team is extremely important, but I think equally important is identifying what your team does well once you assemble them and making sure that those guys do what they do best. And that's role definition, and that's program style of play that focuses on, like, to your point, what do we do well and how do we go out and do that, as opposed to how do we take away something every game that someone else does well.
Yeah, and I know we're kind of looking at DePaul here, but we talked a lot about perimeter defense. That was kind of a big thing you wanted to improve this year. This game and your next two are kind of very much, that's going to be very important. So what are you kind of looking for from this kind of next little stretch here from that area?
Yeah, our ceiling ultimately is going to be determined on how well we guard the ball. And you make a great point in that we'll be stretched against DePaul in regards to they make a lot of threes, they take a lot of threes, they put you in space, they don't stop moving, they have great actions. And then how well do we defend the three-point line, but then how well do we guard the ball so it doesn't create over rotations, and then we're always in rotations and giving up catch and shoot threes. And that we've had some stretches transition wise, and we've had some stretches in the half court where we've been really good. And then we've had some where you can tell we're still growing in that area. And that's always a process with any team, but solidifying that on a consistent basis where we have elite competitiveness and scheme is going to be really the ceiling of our team.